This content is the property of Put It Out There TV, also known as PIOT TV, a property of the House of Yasha Allah El Trust. If you are viewing and or listening to this content on a non-PIOT TV branded platform, then we kindly ask that you stop and flag this content for copyright infringement. Thank you.
Peace and love, everybody. This is Judas Son for Put It Out There TV, also known as PIOT TV, hashtag Put It Out There, coming to you with some local Elyria, Ohio news. Now check this out. Came across an article that was being shared on Facebook yesterday, which was the 24th of February 2020 Roman calendar year. And I see that there is currently a petition going on to have the boys basketball coach at the local Elyria High School removed. Let's go ahead and see. Let me read some of this petition here. I've actually been hearing this gentleman's name quite a lot. Well, I don't want to say quite a lot. I don't want to embellish it or exaggerate, but I've heard his name I've heard his name quite a few times, honestly. Throughout the years, I've heard this gentleman's name quite a few times. All right. So it says here, petition was started by Eric Bowens. The petition is to the Elyria School Board and Athletic Director and one other. It says here, Elyria High boys basketball coach Brett Larrick has been coaching Elyria basketball since the 2008-2009 high school basketball season. Throughout this time, Brett Larrick has undoubtedly failed the basketball program and, more importantly, failed the youth in regards to player development and program development. What Coach Larrick has done is completely disappointing in his 12 years as the head basketball coach for Elyria High School. Goes on further to say here, Larrick's coaching style is leading the program to total destruction and embarrassment. With being ranked 444th in Ohio, for Coach Larrick, often a coachable moment is overlooked and replaced with embarrassment for players after being yelled at in front of everyone in the gym. Practice. Coach Larrick's communication with parents is also very minimal, and since Coach Larrick has been coaching, unfortunately, he has only had a few seasons above the 500 mark and only winning 6 conference games in 3 years to date. Let's go on here. It says Coach Larrick hasn't finished above the 500 mark since the 2016-2017 season. The 2020 Pioneers, losers of 8 straight, put the Raps on a 4-18 regular season with a 49-46 home loss to Strongsville, 5-16, 3-11 to end the Greater Cleveland Conference season in sole possession of last place at 1-13. Very few scholastic athletes that play for Coach Larrick go on to continue their basketball career at the college level, and even fewer on an athletic scholarship. Many parents and alumni, including former players of the program, expressed dissatisfaction with Elyria's head basketball coach, and many current student athletes who reside in Elyria have transferred on to schools across the county to go on to play for other schools because of dissatisfaction with the basketball program. Now, that is something that I can attest to hearing several times throughout the years about this particular coach here at Elyria High myself, that students are leaving the schools to go. And you know what? And it's really nothing new. It's really nothing new at all. Even in my time, that's what the guys were doing. They would end up leaving the Elyria schools, going to Lorain schools, going to Oberlin schools, going to Avon schools, Amherst schools they really have no business being at because who they are. Let's just keep it real. Just so they can play ball, just so they can play sports. And what they have to deal with when they get to those schools because of the cultural difference. You can imagine how it is for a so-called black child coming from an Elyria or Lorain school and going to Avon or Amherst, where the culture is much different. I've heard the stories. Trust me, I've heard the stories. All right. So, I mean, it is what it is. All right. It says the bleachers at each. Okay, hold on here. I'll skip something. Okay. It says many parents and alumni, including former players of the program, expressed dissatisfaction with Elyria's head basketball coach, and many current student athletes who reside in Elyria have transferred on to schools across the county to go on to play for other schools because of dissatisfaction with the basketball program. Elyria's overall culture is undeniably changing, and Coach Larrick refuses to acknowledge change or adapt to it. I wonder if this acknowledge the culture changing is pointing to something racial. I can only wonder because, as I said, in my time, the boys were going to different schools so they could play ball. But the boys, the young men who were going to go play at these schools were so-called black boys who this was being done. For some reason, it appeared to them and their family that they were being blackballed in that particular portion of the county from being able to play ball. So they would end up going to a different school in order to play sports because there was something going on to where it appeared as if the so-called black boys were being hindered from being able to really sprout and grow their wings. Now, you know, I'm sure there were few here and there who were able to move on and appeared to be nurtured from the Elyria High School coaching standpoint and on out. I'm sure there's some out there that actually, you know, went on to do good, bigger and better things, and congratulations and shout outs to them. I hope everything worked out. But as it stands, this is a practice that has been going on way too long. Not even speaking about how it's going on now. It was going on when I was going to school. Guys that I grew up with, in order to play football, they had to leave the Elyria schools and they would have to go to school in Oberlin in order for them to play sports, basketball, football, whatever they wanted to do, because for some reason here in Elyria, the culture was to cause a hindrance, or it appeared that there was a culture of hindering the so-called black boys who just wanted to play ball. So I wonder if that's what they're referring to when they're saying that Coach Larrick refuses to acknowledge change or adapt to it. It says the bleachers at each home game are practically empty and school spirit seems to be at an all-time low for the basketball program. Let's make the best decision by replacing Elyria's head basketball coach and finding someone who can help turn around the Elyria basketball program. Please sign this petition so that we can get this recommendation serious attention. Thank you. So this is the body of the petition to have Brett Larrick, the head basketball coach of the Elyria High School, removed. People are fed up. And, you know, now that I can actually see what's going on, Eric Bowens, it would appear that with him writing this petition, he was trying to be diplomatic. But basically, there's a underlying racial issue that is going on at the end of the day. That's what it is. And I'm going to tell you, for somebody who was trying to deal with sports and who was seeing things up front close hand as growing up in Elyria, born and raised at Elyria, Ohio, having to switch schools, yeah, it was a culture to where it seemed as if the boys, they were trying to hinder the so-called young black men. And that was my experience, and that's what I have firsthand knowledge of and seeing firsthand. It's just as simple as that. All right. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about parents wanting to have Elyria High School boys basketball coach Brett Larrick removed. Have you heard any stories about Brett Larrick? Have you had any bad experiences, any good experiences, anything good or bad to say? It's all good. Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think about this particular situation. Again, this is Judas Son 4 Put It Out There TV, also known as PIOT-TV, hashtag Put It Out There, with some local Elyria, Ohio news. Thank you for allowing me to take up so much of your very valuable time. Peace and love. I'm up out of here. 1.